Right, so that is recording. Will you guys speak?
Hello there.
Right,
Good
desktop audio's
day.
fine. I'll mute that one just in case. Right, laughing. Do 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 do. Right, we should be live now. Yeah, we're live now.
Hello. How you doing all? Yeah, we are live. I can see my glorious face. How's it all going? Where's Zombie buggered off to? So we're going to do the Johnny Depp case.
Yeah, we're
We're going
going
to
to
chat
do
about.
a chat about where we've been, which will probably be the first video. Hopefully, the voice recording thing can hear us.
I can hear us.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear
Yeah,
us?
I can.
yeah.
I can. I can. 100%.
Yeah,
You're
your side's going up more than mine is, but that's fine. Right, so that's recording. Right, everything's recording. Right, boom. Right, there we go. Now we can
Johnny.
start.
Now we can talk about it.
So,
Um.
welcome to the podcast, Balrog and Zombarino. For those who are listening, uh, yeah,
It's
we
been
are
a
the Baz
while. How you
podcast.
been?
It's been a month.
It's been a
I
while.
know, right?
It has.
At
Been a
least a month.
while.
We know
Well, it's
you've
just you
all missed
missed it.
us. Everyone's
Ew,
missed us.
Nick. It's been a while. Um.
Right, they can't
Yeah.
hear
So
me.
they can't hear you.
Nope,
Oh,
I've still got my side muted
Oh, that's
ew,
because
nasty,
Nick.
is it?
I'm an idiot.
Oh, that's okay. We believe you.
We all have our ups and downs, Almighty. You know what I mean? Some people, ups, and some people more downs than ups.
We should be. Oh,
No.
nope. Right. How about now, Melissa? Chat.
Zombie's wife. Hello, zombie wife.
Yay,
That's
Mrs.
okay.
Wife.
We can't hear Nick, so result.
Shut up, you love my voice.
Poor Nick. He's all right. He's a good one.
Talking about different things. It's different than watching and chatting. Oh. Well, we've got a big one that's coming up today. Oh, no, he's fixed it. I have. We're talking about the Johnny Depp case,
Ooh.
which it is a very big one. That's what she said
I,
about my penis.
First thing.
it's. I think it is quite a poignant case, actually. Not the size of your penis, Almighty. I'm sure that is very impressive. Um,
And very pointed, too.
Yeah, definitely
but
pointed.
I was watching this thing about it, and it was talking about the fundamental the aftermath of that case. It'd be kind of like the first big case where a man has um, gone through the domestic courts and also got to the obviously it's called different things in the US. I don't know, but the domestic courts would have dealt with it in a sense. And if he wins, it will change a lot of things. I mean, because the whole Me Too thing um, started up, and that's kind of like what she jumped on the bandwagon of,
Yeah,
by the sound of it.
she's the face of it, apparently.
Oh, she's actually the face of it.
Apparently so, yeah.
Have you heard anything about her? Because she's bisexual. She was with a lady beforehand,
Yeah,
who
she.
actually.
Yeah, oh, thank you very much. Uh, Dark,
Oh, dark,
Dark
So,
mate.
Shadow.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks very much. While
it's
we're
too
be
nice.
looking at the chat, Johnny has his demons. Oh yeah, 100%. It's definitely a toxic relationship.
Yeah.
I
So,
feel
From
like
here's my
she's
after.
thing.
she's trying to gain
Here's
something.
my thing about her. According to the psychiatrist who hung out with them all and did their like background and everything like that, she's textbook borderline personality disorder and all that type of shit. The stuff that's been coming out that she's done, and like there's literally video, like audio recordings that they're playing of her saying, "Yeah, so what? I hit you and did this. So what? I lied about it." Like literally, like all of the shit. Like besides the point, she is literally in the audio, like the court and everything like that, openly admitting to doing what it is that they're trying to prove that she did. And the fact that there's like even a question of doubt or anything up in the air is where there's a fucking problem. Like I'm confused about. Like literally, like every single person is saying, like, "Oh yeah, this is what she does. Oh, this is exactly what it is. This is exactly what it is. Oh, here's an audio of her saying this is exactly what it is. Here's more audio of her saying that. Look, she's in the courtroom now, laughing, saying that's what it is.
The
Yeah,
The fuck
the
are we
thing
talking about?
is
Because it's
her
a
her
defamation case. It's
legal
a civil
team
case.
is 100% trying to get this case jucked out of court. You can just
but they
see it.
Because
yeah, yeah.
it's a civil case. Because it's a civil case. That's the problem. What they're doing is he's suing based solely on something she said in a specific article years prior. So the whole thing is he has to prove to the court or whatever that the entirety of their past relationship wasn't him being abusive, that it was the other way around. Because the only way like the only way he can get it to brought to court, whatever, is for him to sue for defamation for one thing she said in the fucking court case before. You know what I
So
mean? So like,
basically, he wasn't going to go through the whole domestic violence
No,
thing, but it's come to that point. He
mm.
wanted to
Well,
sue
no,
her for
this is
defamation
civil.
of character.
That's what this is.
Yeah,
Because she said in an article, like in Vanity Fair, or whatever, back in 2000, whatever, that she is a survivor of domestic violence and didn't say him specifically, but basically
yeah.
pointed out like it, but like implied that it was him the entire
Did,
time, like
didn't she say
specifically.
ex-husband
And then he's coming
or
back
something
like
like that?
saying like,
I
what
think
was that?
I think the article said something like ex-husband.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
But it's
Like
lost the
she
earnings as
basically
well,
implied,
wouldn't it?
yeah,
It
like he
lost
got
the
fired
earnings.
from something. He got fired from like a show or something like that, and lost
he got
wages
fired
and that type
from
of shit. But
Disney and stuff.
Yeah,
what?
yeah, I heard that. He's lost a lot of like parts and stuff, and but he
Did he
doesn't want.
literally get kicked off the Pirates of the Caribbean for it? Oh shit!
Yeah, she
I
did. Yeah,
think
Like it
so.
wasn't just anything; it was the actual Pirates
Yeah,
of the
The
I
Caribbean.
Pirates,
Yeah.
the Harry Potter franchise he was in, and a couple of other films. He's done small indie
Mm.
films since because he says he said it in court. But like his big money earners, like
Yeah. I
it's
didn't know it
just
was because of that. I just figured it was
yeah,
because it was done
no,
that they stopped. No.
because of that.
yeah, it's
As
affected
soon
him
as yeah,
greatly.
as soon as
Yeah.
that thing article came out, that like he lost everything pretty much.
But I think the worst thing about this is the fact that she had the arrogance to think just because she said it, everybody must believe her. And I
People
think
At
still
that's
work.
what.
do. It's crazy. I had to block someone on my Facebook because they said I'm Team Amber. So I argued with them and proved points, and they were like, "Oh, I'm still Amber." I'm like, "Why are you still Team Amber? Why?"
She's lying. The emo
100%.
the things that I've seen is like they're picking up on lies that she said all the through. And now it's only small lies, but it's enough to kind of bring you to question the other things as well.
Well,
And I saw a
they're not
couple of
just
the.
small lies. She's literally fucking insane.
Yeah,
She
Like they
sounds
weren't
like she
small
is.
little bits. Like they weren't like small lies. Like they were complete like massive like shifts in character. Like she was one person and then became an entirely different person. And like so many people are testifying, like her lawyer, her only defense
They're
was
useless. They are
that the
fucking useless.
doctors, yeah, the doctor was like, oh, so your husband brought muffins or danishes or something like that to the. So you brought danishes in. It's like, yeah. So you told her that Amber Heard was coming to things. Like, no. It's like, well, how did you know? It's like, I had my husband bring danishes into the fucking work for me. Like, what the fuck? Like the doctors like they were sitting there like, are you fucking kidding me? Can we stop talking about these goddamn
yeah.
danishes?
Can we stop
Like,
talking
I
about
had my
these
husband.
muffins, please?
Like, because all it is like they're trying to discredit the doctor, saying like, "Oh, you're only doing this for the show of it." Like, "Oh, then like, how'd your husband know that she was going to be there?" It's like they didn't. I had him pick up breakfast for us because that's what she did for clients. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? It's like, yeah, he knew there was going to be a high profile client. He didn't know who it was or what was going on, and even if he did, who the fuck cares? She's still insane. Like, can we stop bringing up these danishes? And like,
I,
it's the fact that you have to argue that in a fucking court.
but
You know what
why?
I mean? Like, because it's
I'm,
not criminal court. You got to understand.
yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah,
difference between criminal and civil courts and shit like that.
yeah.
Like, because she can openly admit to all the criminal stuff she wants to, and it doesn't matter because what she's being charged or being blamed for is something specific.
Yeah.
So all this shit doesn't actually really help or do anything, but like it brings it to light shit that people are like, why hasn't it been changed or dealt with? And like, why isn't it being dealt with? It's like, well, because this is the most insane way of bringing it to life. But it's the only way you fucking can in this world.
But obviously, if
Fucking
things
crazy
come
shit.
up that are illegal that she's done, because obviously she has hit him, so it's domestic abuse.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
can that then grow into another court case? This could go on forever. If, say, for example, and also loss of earnings, he could sue her for loss of earnings
No,
if
that's
that's
what this
the case.
is. That's what
This
this
is
is.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
$50 million for like
But
defamation,
now,
and that's what the loss of earnings and stuff that is.
okay,
But
so
she's
loss of
countersuing
earnings
for
is
100 million.
yeah,
Yeah,
but she does. She
that's how
hasn't got
you
that
sue for
kind of
defamation.
money.
You have to show that.
She hasn't got that kind of money, though, has she?
She'll get
She's not.
Elon to
She's.
pay for him. What's up,
Oh,
gentlemen? A1 Legends in the
hello,
chat.
hello, A1 legend. How you doing, mate?
Hey, everybody, what's up?
To be honest, though, I mean, if it comes, yeah, get Elon to pay for him. He's another prick. I don't like him.
I
You
can't
know,
stand him now.
I don't know why I don't like
I
him.
don't. He's never
Just
got
don't-
fuck like. Ever since this case, like I don't like him. Like she was still married to Johnny Depp when she slept with him. Same with
he
James
was
Franco.
married.
Yeah,
He was married as well.
Hmm.
I hate
Um,
fucking cheaters. I hate them.
he was married to. I think he'd been married to her for quite a long time because he's
So
obviously
Elon
South
Musk,
African.
or
Elon Musk. Yeah, he's
yeah,
got.
he's still married. Um, Apparently, him and his wife have like this weird relationship. Like they're basically like a contract marriage, if you think about it. Like they're married for the benefits of being a married couple for like the assets and stuff and shit like that. So like they don't even own a house. They literally just kind of like live in their offices and shit like that, and based off of wherever they come together every once in a while for the kids. It's like a fucking weird thing, apparently.
He's reclaimed his South African citizenship, hasn't he?
I don't
Did you hear
So,
about that?
I'm surprised he hasn't bought
know.
South Africa.
I'm amazed that to be honest with you, you might be able to turn it around. But I
Well,
was quite shocked at that. I was thinking, what's he doing then? If he goes
well,
back to
it
South
wouldn't
Africa,
surprise me because in America he pays on his income. He pays 50% taxes on his income to the
he'll,
U.S.
he'll probably pay more than
So
that
like
in
if
South Africa,
you
isn't
gotta
it?
think about it. You gotta think about that. The most like the richest man in the world pays the United States government more than half of his income, and he's still the richest person in the world. It's fucking insane. Like he's basically funding the entire American government. It seems.
Yeah, but he's
So why
also
wouldn't he go back to South Africa?
he's come out quite he's well obviously he's bought Twitter, but obviously
He's done everything.
the lefties have gone a bit tits crazy on that, haven't they? Anyway, we're going off
Yeah,
subject. Yeah, they've gone a bit mad about
Yeah,
that
we have.
because they think
This is the sort of stuff we need to save for
yeah,
individual
yeah.
content.
Um, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp needs to win.
yeah.
No. If he does win, I'm not saying he needs to win. If he does win, I think that's going to open up a lot of doors for other things.
100%.
Um,
I said this in the
Well, here's
because
stream.
my question.
a lot of
Oh,
men are scared to say
Yep.
that they're in a violent relationship, and also it's kind of like it's frowned upon. I wouldn't say it's frowned upon, but if say for example, if I went to my mother and said, "Oh, my wife's beating me up, mom," she'd go, "What the fuck you on about? She'd go sort it out." You know what I
yeah.
mean? But
Yeah.
if
And
I
then
was
what you
a
do is like
woman,
you sort it out. It's like, well, why'd you do that? You should have just like
yeah,
did something different. You should have just taken
exactly.
it. Just stop it. Just stop it. Just get over it. Just stop it.
Socially,
Knock it
it's not
off. So
really
what?
acceptable, is it, for a
No.
man
Yeah.
to admit that
Yeah.
kind of shit?
It's not acceptable to admit that it's happening, but it's also not acceptable to stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men are
Do you
fucked.
know what used to, do you know what
But
used to happen in the
Uh-uh.
medieval times if your wife was beating you up? You were
Cut her head
stoned in
off.
front of the village. If you're a man and you admitted that your wife was hurting you or hitting you, um, you'd be taken out and stoned by the other villagers.
A1 Legend
Kind of the same.
has made a great comment. Men are supposed to be strong. Our feelings in relationships don't matter. It's shit. Hence why most men don't speak up. It's right, though. Like, I had a conversation in my stream the last time I streamed, and someone said it's toxic masculinity. It's not. It's just how men have to be. Like, I've tried opening up to women, and they've just used it against me further on down the line. So why should a man open up about themselves or about their problems? Why should they do it if they're going to get it used against them?
But why do they have to call it these funny names? Why can't it just be like the old days when toxic masculinity was just a prick?
Mm.
Because men can be
Well,
pricks to blokes
because
as well.
Yeah,
the idea of toxic masculinity like doesn't necessarily mean just being like, oh, being masculine is toxic. It's the fact that the idea of masculinity being, oh, you're not allowed to say about it is toxic. Meaning, being masculine to the point where you don't bring up the problem, that's what's toxic about it. That's the toxic part. Being unable to speak because not because speaking about it not masculine. That
But you
doesn't, you know
see,
what I mean? That's it's actually on the opposite side of what I think we're talking about
yeah, I
because
know,
we
but
see like because there's two sides of it.
I read a lot of these things. The
Mhm.
use of English is fucking terrible. I mean,
I know, right?
if you say toxic masculinity, that means
Yeah,
that your masculinity, whatever level of
yeah.
Masculinity.
Masculinity. Yeah,
masculinity it is toxic.
Yeah.
Doesn't say that okay,
yeah.
this and this and this,
They
but
don't
if you
clarify
say
it, and there's like
it's
no definition.
not
It's
clear,
just universal. They're like it's all of it. It's like it's all talk. But like, really, it's ridiculous. It's good to be masculine. It's good to have masculinity. It's wrong to assume that only men are masculine. I mean, women can have masculine features and do that sort of shit. That's what we do as like a fucking society. We just say things universally and act like everybody knows what we're talking about specifically,
it
and
doesn't
it's
work like that.
ridiculous.
And
No,
that's I mean, there was another example, and I can't remember it off the top of my head, but to degrade masculinity, for example, or anything that is part of us as people,
yeah,
on any sex, on any gender, whatever, is
mm,
just degrading towards that thing, and it means that people turn against it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, masculinity, femininity are important parts of our culture.
yeah. The
And
problem
if you
is we assign them to specific genders, and like you can have feminine traits as a man. It's just we won't let people do that, and that's where the problem comes in. Is like, oh, you're not allowed to be that way because that's what girls do,
Yeah.
or that's what women do. But the reality is like, no, you can
Do what the
have
fuck you like.
yeah, like 'cause that's one of the things that screwed me up as a kid, being disabled and like having a brain problem. Like I would play with GI Joes and Barbie dolls, and like, oh
Yeah.
look, my GI Joe had a girlfriend, and they were playing. That's how I would fucking do it. But then someone would say, hey, you can't play with Barbie dolls. Only girls do that. And then as a fucking kid, I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, wait, what? But I thought I was a boy. I can, and I'm playing with them. Why the fuck isn't this working?
Why
If
aren't I
I'm like
allowed
that,
to
then
have my
what it
dolls
is.
have
But
sex? Why can't?
yeah, yeah, like 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 I'm just making them pretend like they're the neighbors. It's But then
so
we
it
put
is
that fucking
so
stigma on it, and people get fucking up in arms. I don't know.
So say for example in so the words toxic masculinity. Okay, so that scenario
Mhm.
you just explained to me there, the person who said that that's girls' toys are being toxic
Yeah,
masculinity.
yeah, that's toxic masculinity right
Okay,
there. That
whatever happened to prick or cunt or dickhead? Why can't people just use normal words? It
I know,
doesn't mean
right?
that it has to be linked to a
Yeah.
man, does it? Because a
Oh, do
girl
you?
could do that.
Mhm.
You know what
Well,
I
you
mean?
remember that's one of the arguments I always heard is why when it's like when a girl does it, it's called being bossy, but when a guy does it, it's called being assertive. And like it's not. When a girl's behaving in a way that we consider bossy, when a guy does it and it's a boy child, we call him a dick. That's what it is. Like it's not assertive. It's not that. It's like no, she's being a bitch. He's being
Yeah.
a dick. Like that female over there is being assertive. That male over there is being assertive. She's being a bitch. He's being a prick. That's how it is. That's just the words we use because calling a child a bitch isn't proper. So we say, oh, it's bossy. you
You're
know?
mean. Stop being so mean. You know that's
Yeah.
obviously the version that you'd use in front of kids. But as
Yeah.
adults, you kind of get past that point, and you can see that
Mm,
someone's just being an arsehole. I mean,
yeah.
if someone's being derogatory to if a man's being derogatory to a woman or a woman is being derogatory to a man, then they are being toxic. So you can then use that as they are a toxic person. But then to link masculinity is like it's like me saying to you, Almighty, if Almighty's being horrible to me, I say you're being toxic human. So every human is toxic because they act like you. If you say toxic masculinity, it means that
Yeah.
every man
It's
who
toxic.
who has who is masculine is toxic, and
Yep.
that's not right.
It's
But there
That's
is
not right
masculine
English.
behavior that is toxic at the same time. So it's
it's
kind
the
of like
same
it's
with
like a
feminine behaviour as well, which
yeah.
going back to our original starting point, which is why I was
Oh,
waiting for
sorry.
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's all right because the conversation just went full circle. Amber Heard showed
Yeah.
a lot of feminine
Creepypasta.
toxicity in her relationship. As the case is going on, you can see she's using her feminine wilds like to 100% like being toxic about the whole thing because she's a feminine.
Yeah. She's using this the stigma of it. It's what they. It's all she has to go on based on anything. Is she can only go off the stereotype and the picture that people paint in their mind.
She's a
And
frail lady that should be looked after and that has been
yeah,
beaten by a vicious, horrible
yeah.
man. Is that the
Or no,
idea?
no.
Pretty much.
Well, the idea is that like it's because she's female. Like her, like she said, like I didn't punch you. I was hitting you. That's what the thing was. Like I wasn't punching you. I was hitting you. There's a difference. Like I was mad and I was hitting you. There's a difference between me and that and attacking you.
When
It's like
I
why? What's the difference? Like
when I
literally, that's a
heard
quote.
that, when I know I heard the same thing, and
Mhm.
I was
Yeah,
kind of thinking about it. Like, I mean, I've been slapped by a woman and I've been punched by a
yeah.
bloke. I got to be honest with you, the slap hurt a lot more than the fucking
Yeah.
punch.
But that's
Yeah,
the thing though. Like that's the shit I went through. Like oh, it's different when I'm hitting you because I'm doing it because I'm mad. I'm like don't fuck. Yeah, that's why it's a problem.
yeah,
Like what the fuck? Like I'm hitting you. I wasn't punching you. I was hitting you. Like, that's the fucking problem. Like I don't care. You. Oh, I missed. What the? Okay, yeah, you missed. You can't use the fact that I was able to block it every single time as an excuse for continuously trying to fucking do it.
So
You know?
do you know that section they put up in the courtroom of her saying that? Was that from her defense side, or was that from Johnny's defense side?
That was his side of it. That was like
Okay.
him. Like it's like yeah, she openly admitted to doing it, and this is why. And like it was a conversation between the two of them. Her explaining to Johnny Depp in the conversation, I was just hitting you. I wasn't punching you. I was hitting you.
Was
And
that the
like that's how they
same?
fucking judge that shit.
Was that the same recording where she also goes, "Tell the world, Johnny, that you're being abused" or something along them lines?
Probably. Like I think the one that one was actually through text messages though. The one I was talking about. It was actually a text that she had said. So it was in writing. You know, she was able
Because
to read. It's like yeah,
there is a
that's
voice
it. And I
recording
think
of her saying like, "I didn't punch you, I hit you because I was I think it's because I was mad." And I think in the same recording, like it says something like, "Tell the world, Johnny, that you're being abused," and then Johnny's
because you're such a
lawyer,
pussy.
yeah, something like yeah, because
Yeah.
you're a pussy. And then Johnny's lawyer said, "How did you respond to that?" And Johnny just pretty much turned around and said, "Yes, I am," and that was the end of Johnny's. Uh,
He
Yeah.
kind of tried to get away from it, didn't he? I
yeah,
heard him
Yeah.
say something about that. He
Yeah.
tried to lock himself in the bathroom, and that's when she smacked
Yeah,
him
he
round
said he
over
went
the
to like
door.
eight bathrooms and 15 different rooms and shit like
Yeah.
that, like just to end the conversation. It's like, no, you just want to run away from the problem. Oh, that's what it is. They want to
Right.
like she the doctor like she openly said that what she would do is when he would try to leave, she would hit him to keep him in the argument.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
That's why she
that's
was hitting it. Like
abuse.
she would hit him to keep him in the argument.
What's
What
up,
a bitch.
It's
outdoor?
like
Hello, outdoor mate. How you doing, buddy? Men are supported to be supposed to be
yeah.
strong. Okay, I've read that.
Yeah.
I've read that. How
But
you
here's the
doing,
thing though, like
outdoor mate?
my wife's ex is the same way. Like he will berate you. He's like, no, you are wrong for making me hit you. And that's the shit that fucking is irritating. Because I don't know, it's the exact same situation she was in, just reversed. Like it was the man who's doing it and saying that shit too. Like he openly like told me like, oh, I hit her because that's just what I did. If she didn't want me hitting her, then she shouldn't have been arguing with me. She knew better than that. And like,
Yeah, but you can be pissed off. Yeah, right.
yeah,
I've been in arguments with women, girlfriends, wives, or whatever. Yeah, and I've got to
yeah,
the point where I want to. I'm not going
yeah.
to lie. I want to, but I
But you
wouldn't.
don't. Yeah, you
You know,
walk away.
you just
Yeah,
think, fucking hell, you want to, and you feel it inside of yourself, but you just say, fuck this. No, I'm not going to do that. But it doesn't stop me from wanting to, and it's self
yeah,
control. But the
yeah,
thing I was just thinking about when you were talking about it, a lot of like over the last maybe 20 years, like this wouldn't have happened in the 80s. There's no
mm-mm,
way it wouldn't have happened in the 80s or the early 90s. And it seems to have come one thing causes an extreme opposite. So this extreme sexism, this split in the sexes, has only kind of come in the last maybe 20 years. Well, I mean, there was there before, but we kind of thought we sorted it out back in the 70s, but it didn't seem to work. Obviously not. But
well,
because of this whole Me Too thing, if he wins this, it's kind of like an exact opposite to that, isn't it? It's kind of like an extreme. Johnny Depp, if he was
and
beaten by
it's
his
like really
wife
me too.
in
It's
the
like
80s,
legitimately me too. Like me too isn't just me too as in us women too. It's me too as in
yeah,
anybody anywhere who has
anybody.
someone treating you like fucking shit. But like here's
Yeah,
the thing:
but
like, when you
didn't
think
the
about
whole team,
this stuff
the whole
happening,
Me Too movement, pretty much like stick with women?
well,
It's
the Me Too
very
movement was
heavily women.
specifically well, yeah, but that one's the Me Too movement was specifically sexual oriented, and there were men who came out specifically. Like
Right,
that's
all
what
right.
happened to the guy who was in oh, what the fuck's his name? He was a really big actor.
Well, Brendan Fraser.
No, older guy. What the hell is his name? He played House of Cards. What's the movie show I'm thinking of? He was
House
in
of
The Usual
Cards.
Suspects.
1 minute, I'll get
Oh,
him up now.
um, he was in The Interpreter. He was the bad guy in Seven. Am I
I
right?
think so. I think so. Maybe like I'll remember his name as soon as I hear it. It's just um. But
Oh
yeah,
God,
most of the Me Too movement was a lot of female because that's mostly what it was. But
Kevin Spacey.
yeah,
Kevin
Kevin Spacey.
Spacey. Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah,
the one I was thinking of.
he was on males and he got fucking hemmed up for it too.
I've just thought
And
there,
then
right? Like Johnny Depp is going to open a lot of doors, right? If you look at the celebrities, I know like we're talking about celebrities, but if you look at the celebrities, Will Smith is going through an abusive relationship, right? And people are just memeing his ass. Kanye
Yeah,
West,
wouldn't
whether you like him or not, like Kanye West, I think he went through an abusive relationship. He's something's going on with him, but he's getting memed for wanting to see his
he's nuts.
kids. Oh yeah, he's crazy, one hundred
Well, that,
percent. But
yeah,
him won't let him see
he
his
this
kids.
okay. There's areas with that. Like with my wife's ex, we won't let him around his kids either because of the shit he says, and he's acting exactly like the shit I see with Kanye West.
Right, all right.
Fucking
So
oh,
what
he is
about
he,
Tyrese Gibson? Because
I don't know
something's
about
going
him.
on. Something's I don't know
Yeah,
what's actually going on with him, but
yeah,
something's definitely
yeah,
going on with him.
yeah.
But
I don't
still,
know
like
about him though. I haven't heard his.
you can see Will Smith is going on a mental breakdown because of his wife, right? And
Yeah.
everyone's
But how
memeing
much
him.
of that is
yeah.
abusive in the sense of like physical abuse, and abusive as
It's
in
I
like
think it's
we're just
mental,
a
it's
like
Hollywood
mental.
family?
psychological.
I think it's a Hollywood thing. Like he's a
Yeah.
Hollywood family, and he wants it to be a real family. And she was like, I wasn't into this from the start, but played the fucking game the entire time, and it's finally crashing down. And he's like, at the end, his entire fucking career is like, what? He's like, where am I at now? 50 fucking 60 years old, and my entire family's like against me. You know,
It's and I think
started as a
you
friendship.
could it could be, play a part, but I definitely think it's definitely mental abuse because she's been doing it for years. Said in multiple interviews, "I never wanted to marry you." So why has she never left?
Yeah,
So they're in an open
it's the same thing.
relationship,
Like it's
aren't
what.
They're not
Yeah.
in it. They're not in an open relationship. It's just because she's a slag and likes to get fucked by everyone. But yeah, as soon as he does it, he'll be fucking called a cheater. Like
they? Yeah.
I can't stand. It. I fucking hate it.
That's one of yeah, it's shitty too, but at the same time, he's got to get out of there himself.
Oh, 100%. You're right. Like it's on him as well as it is her.
Mhm.
Like he needs to get the fuck out of there. But he obviously loves her. And like,
Yeah.
to be fair, it's Will fucking Smith. Like, if he came up to me now and said, "Would you marry me?" Fucking pants are down and everything. I'm telling you. Like, I would be
Oh,
bringing the lube.
But is that maybe there's like more to all this? I mean, it seems to be happening quite a bit. I mean, the whole idea of like the family and marriage has kind of been destroyed, hasn't it? So maybe I mean, if they
well,
did,
it's being brought out like because like the idea that it shouldn't happen because back in the day, what it was is you got into a marriage, and then if that shit happened, you didn't tell anybody. You handled it in the background. Like you didn't tell anybody. You didn't let that shit happen. Like you didn't want people to know that it was happening to begin with. Because like I know, like with my mom, she was in a domestic violence incident too. Like with her first husband. Thing is, he went out, got drunk again. She went out, filed for divorce, waited for him to come home drunk. He tried hitting her again. She fucking knocked his ass out with a frying pan. And then, put the divorce papers on his head and went and joined the Marine Corps. You know, that's one of those things like you don't talk about it, doesn't come out. Like that was a domestic violence relationship
same
where the
as
guy ended up getting his ass knocked out.
same as my
But like,
mum, she like
yeah,
same thing, kind of same exactly the same thing, but she split his head open with a stiletto shoe. Um, but but it didn't. No one talked about it. Then it was just
yeah,
part of it.
yeah.
You know, I mean, Auntie Mavis used to come to the family party with a black eye, or my uncle Joey would come to with half his big slice on his forehead, and no one used to talk about it. It was just part of the thing, wasn't it? It
Mm.
was bad. I'm not saying that's a good
Well,
thing, but
like with us, like the way like would happen in where we're from, like if she came home with a black eye, eventually like what would happen is the husband would come home with 2 black eyes, and then the brother would be in jail, and you'd have no idea what happened. Like, what happened? It's like, oh no, no, he fell, and then it never happened again.
Because it my
That's how
my
like
it was like 11 brothers, and they all they lived there. That's what my dad was part of. It was they all looked after each other, and they all swept everything under the carpet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. What happened? It's like, I don't
yeah,
know. He fell down.
usually she fell
He did,
down
yeah, yeah.
because they were big drinkers. But how has it gone from that to this? I mean, is that I don't know. I think there should be like a happy medium somewhere in the middle.
Well,
Maybe
in this case, though, she's taking advantage. This is by far like the extreme of the situation. She is legitimately insane. I think, like, and which is what my ex was, and my wife's ex, like, legitimately crazy. But she's also rich and in the spotlight and has access to all the shit she needs to cover that up and continue on to exasperate her own mental problems because, like, hey, I must be doing something right because look of who I am, you know?
did you see the
Like,
bit when the lawyer asked the guy a question and he objected to his own
So question.
question?
no, I
I mean,
missed
I
it.
don't know much about like U.S. courtrooms, but I kind of get the idea that you're supposed to like. I just found it quite funny. Um, but it just seems that I think they're trying to clear. Isn't it? I read a news report jumped up that her lawyers um left.
I
Her
think one of
lawyer,
them did.
yeah, one of her lawyers has decided just to jump ship. But to be
Yeah.
honest, that could be
But,
the end of their careers.
yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, this wouldn't come out if it wasn't for the fact that Johnny Depp is taking it to court to make it come out.
Yeah, yeah,
he,
You
the,
know, that's the whole thing. Like, normally what would happen is people would look at you and be like, "Why are you bringing this up? It's over with. It's done with. Get over it. Like, fucking go on." But
yeah. But
he's
it just ruined
literally
his
like, "No,
career.
I want this." Yeah, but he's like, like, you can move on. You can do whatever." But like, that's what people would tell him. But he's like, "No, I want this out there. I want the fucking truth to be known. Like, this is
he
the
wants
shit
to
that needs
clear
to
his
come out."
name. That's all he does. He
Yeah,
Yeah,
wants to clear his name.
he's missing part of his fucking finger. Like,
yeah.
literally.
Her lawyers were saying that was him. He did that. He cut his finger off.
On a broken piece of glass. Like, oh, I went to pick up a piece of glass and lost part of my finger.
Because he said something in court when they were saying he said because he was talking because he plays guitar, doesn't he? And he said, "Yeah, the only thing that's kept me happy is playing guitar, and I cut the fingers off so that I couldn't play anymore." It's quite
Yeah.
poignant. I quite like the way that but you see, there's also an element. If you look at their relationship and the timeline of when they started seeing, I've only roughly done this, so you can, if you want to fill the gaps in. But his drinking and his alcohol and his weight gain started when they started seeing each other.
It goes to
Um,
show that like something wasn't up from the
yeah,
thingy.
100%.
Objection.
I
Here
mean,
I say it. Sorry, guys. We need to move on. Next question.
yes, is that what who said that? Yes,
Hey, one
mate.
legend.
But I mean, it's just I'm just looking at it. I mean, and she's also said that his drug addiction. I mean, look, there's nothing. It's bad being
Yeah,
addicted
he
to any
gained
kind of drugs.
weight
Is
on
bad.
cococaine. Who the fuck gains weight on cocaine?
But I think it's the
Oh
booze as
yeah,
well. I don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, but that's what
Yeah,
she's playing off of. Like, oh, he became like highly addicted to cocaine, and that's what would cause him to lash out. And like that's what originally was. She had to actually abandon that argument because she proved that he wasn't lashing out like she was. But that's
yeah, yeah,
another thing those abuser fucking people do is they'll tell people you're doing exactly what it is that they're doing to you. That way, when you tell people like, "Hey, this is what she's doing," it's like, "Oh, really? That's what she said you're doing." Now, who do you believe? You know,
exactly.
and it's
Like,
like, yeah,
And
it's
and
fucking
and I've
insane.
and then another comical moment was there's a type of makeup that covers up bruises really well or something, and it wasn't released until 2017, and she said that she had it back in 2006, 15,
Yeah, about
and the co
2015, 2016, and the companies came out and said,
and said no, wasn't even on the
nah,
market then, which I
Yeah.
I found quite funny. So there's just all these like
Mhm.
little holes in her story that don't seem
Yeah.
to make any
They're
sense.
plausible. They're plausible explanations that she never went to follow through on. Like, oh,
Yeah,
well, you know, how did you do this? Well, I had this. It's like, well, did you actually research that? Like, well, no.
no,
You know, you didn't
it
actually
wasn't
do
even
any
out
of the,
there.
you know. She just, you know, she has that much confidence. It's like, oh, as long as I have a explanation, it doesn't have to be true. You know, I have an explanation. That's all I need. I'm Amber Heard. I can fucking say what I want and go on, move on.
But I mean, look, let's take it back, right? Let's take it back to what she said. So she has blatantly said that this person did a crime to her. She's had the
Mhm.
balls, the metaphorical balls, obviously, to say that out loud in a public forum on written media, and she doesn't expect there to be any backlash. And if it
Yeah,
was
pretty
the
much.
case that she was in a domestic abuse environment, why didn't she tackle it then? Why did she later use it
Yeah.
to like kind of further her um
Mhm.
political stance or whatever it is? Um,
Well, I can understand that part. I can understand like the holding back part because she was playing off of a real problem that it was hard for people to come forward and come out of that situation. The problem with her though is she wasn't one of those fucking people. You know what I
I
mean?
know.
Like that shit
that's
Did
going
happened
to
for
you
make
real.
it harder
know?
for other people.
Did you know that she
Yeah,
abused her partner before
Yeah,
Johnny? Like, so
yeah,
she's already
yeah,
known for being an abuser.
yeah.
yeah.
It's a history. It's a pattern, and that's what these fucking people do. There's a pattern. That's why they write books about it, and they can write it down like, oh, this person will act this way, and you can sit there and look at these fucking books and like, oh, you can expect this person to be this way, and you look up, and that's exactly how the fuck they are. But no one
But
wants to fucking do anything about it.
nothing ever happened for because she was in
Mm.
like a same sex relationship before, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And she beat the crap out of this girl, this woman.
Yeah,
And the coppers were called, but from what I could find, it was all brushed under the carpet. No
yeah.
charges were laid, and also the girl who she was with isn't going to be brought up as yet anyway as a character witness or whatever it will be. But you kind of think that if that's the case, if she's got prior
Mhm.
prior issues or prior convictions, then they definitely bring her out. I think they should.
Well, they couldn't. They couldn't because that would have been a previous relationship, and this is a civil trial based on specific incidents that happened after that.
Yeah, but
So
it's still a character witness. Surely it can be brought up in the sense of this has happened before.
yeah, and that's what you can bring up. You can bring up, hey, she has a conviction for this, but that wouldn't mean you bring the person up as a character witness because that's already been put in the court. It's already on record, which the
She's
proof of
she's next on the
would be
stand,
the
right?
actual.
Is she next on the
Hmm?
stand?
Oh, is she actually going to be on the stand?
Yeah.
I would have thought she'd have been able to.
Really? Okay.
Uh,
Then they didn't
uh,
argue that point. Then cool.
I think she is,
um,
but I'm not 100% sure.
Hmm.
surely they'll bring it up though. Surely they're
Yeah,
going
you
to
could
say,
always
look,
try. Like you would always try. It's just that it would be the defense that would argue that, oh, don't bring her up because if that's a past argued incident, we could assume what's already going to be said, which is actually what they did at my wife's one trial with her ex. Was you could always assume that the people who are going to be speaking on your behalf are going to say something nice about you and negative about him. And they're like, okay,
Well, that
well,
it wasn't that
it's
is
still
that one of
entered.
the points the defendants are trying to make, like that
Yeah.
the defendant, the people on the stand are on Johnny's side and are
Mhm.
loyal to him pretty much. 'Cause I'm pretty sure one of them asked that question: "Are you loyal to Johnny Depp?"
yeah, but
Yeah.
even if you know Johnny Depp, like so for example,
Mhm.
everyone knows. I mean, there's not
Yeah.
many people that don't know Johnny Depp, is there?
Yeah.
There's going to be some kind of bias, but
That's
say
what
for
they're. That's
example,
all they have.
yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry, I didn't
all
mean
you
to
got
cut
to
you off.
work with, isn't
Yeah.
it? But the thing
Yeah.
is, if you saw something and it looked like there was definitely some um, what's the word? There was some blame on Johnny Depp's side. Even somebody who's loyal to them would like, no, that's a bit shitty, man. What the fuck are you doing? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
even if someone loves their movies, you're still going to be like, no, that's not cool. Sorry, I'm fixing my desk again.
Yeah.
As in
Yeah, like
broke
even
again.
though most of them were actually talking about their treatment towards them, it wasn't even the stuff like that. It's like, oh, this is what she did to me. It
Yeah,
wasn't even like how she treated them. Like this is her way of like screaming at me on a plane.
because there was I remember seeing one interview with a PA. I think it was a PA, and she was extremely aggressive towards this PA.
Yeah.
In the
Yeah,
sense of spitting at her.
it was her personal assistant.
Yeah, yeah. Like spitting in her face and all
Mm.
manner of stuff because she asked for more money or something.
Yeah,
To be honest
I
though,
remember that. Yeah, yeah. They
if
wanted a
I
raise or
worked
like, can I get paid based on what I'm
if I,
doing full time?
if if I worked for her, I think I'd want a raise. To be honest, I didn't even know who she was before all this.
No,
I had no idea. I've never seen Aquaman or whatever it's called. I've never.
She,
I do know.
Aquaman.
Hey, I'm
Johnny's
joking.
Johnny
You're
said
fucking
that
annoying.
she got that role just for him, just
I bet
because
she
of
did.
him.
But no, that wasn't. I don't think that's what he was talking about. They were. She was trying to say that he prevented her from working. Because it
Yeah.
was one of the arguments was him saying like, "What are you doing?" Like we had an agreement. We talk about this. Like, look, he was being controlling. He's like, "Well, no, I wasn't being controlling and telling her she couldn't work. How do you think she got Aquaman? She was still going out and doing her stuff. Like this was an entirely different conversation. Like
Yeah.
what she's talking about isn't what she's saying. Like we were doing something entirely different. She was able to work. She did Aquaman while we were doing. I mean, that wasn't. You know, I wasn't preventing her from doing a job. She did her work. But
Like,
that was one of
I
her
mean,
arguments. Was that
I'm not
lost
too
business?
up on American courts, but I would have thought that's kind of off the subject, isn't it? If it's a domestic violence case and she has rigid proof to say that she was battered, a battered wife, then bringing up that fact is just what is that? Unless we're talking mental abuse in the sense of him
Yeah,
trying to
like he
hold
was
her back.
controlling and yeah. That's what she was trying to claim was that like the one conversation that they showed was him being controlling and like not letting her progress
Yeah,
her career and that type of shit. And,
but I mean, look, I'm not an educated man. I saw those text messages, and it just show just all it shows is that she didn't turn up for like a meeting, like a meal with her husband, and he was pissed off that she didn't turn up and didn't tell him where she was.
yeah,
That's
and she
all
said
that
that she
was.
was in a meeting, and he's like, "What kind of meeting?" He's like, "What's your problem?" He's like, "You know what? I thought we had an agreement." He's like, "You know what? Never mind. We'll talk about it when we get home."
Yeah,
And
that's.
that was it.
I mean,
And she's trying to use that as an excuse. Like this is an example of him not letting me take work because I was in a work meeting, and this is him trying to control that. It's like no, that's not the entire conversation. That's like
what
one thing out of context. What happened before and after that conversation tells an entirely different story.
did her lawyers go to school?
Well, yeah, but that's exactly what they do. They take context. Like here, this tells you what we want you to hear.
Yeah,
They
Yeah, but
have
it
to do
doesn't even
something, and
say
since
that.
she, that's all. Yeah, but that's
Does
the
it?
thing. Though, like they don't have anything. So that's what they have to do is they have
Okay,
to
so they're
take the
just.
nothing they have and do that with
and
nothing.
they're trying to
If I
hide.
That's why,
was if
yeah,
I was a
they're doing
lawyer
their
though,
best. And that's it.
I'd be sat there going, this is fucking bollocks, love. You ain't gonna get nowhere with this treacle. You might as well just give up on this,
Uh,
man. He's just pissed
we
off
did
because she
that.
didn't come to dinner.
Yeah, prolong it, prolong the fucking trial so you get paid the entire time. That's
Yeah,
what you got to do. That's
that's what
all.
it
They're like,
sounds
you know,
like.
she's rich, so we're gonna get the money.
Yeah,
If we win this somehow, then we're in the bank. If not, then we can go on how we can talk about how this bitch did what she did, and
but the
then they could be on the
like
other end of it.
looking at everything up until this date that I've seen so far, I don't Johnny's not going to walk away if even if she does win. Yeah,
Yeah.
Johnny's not going to walk away any better off. She's not going to walk any way better off. Then none of them will get any jobs anymore. And if she loses, she's fucked.
Yeah,
He might like he'll get work.
I think he will.
Uh,
He'll get
if
yeah,
work.
even if
but
she
even if she
loses,
wins, even if she gets this whole fucking thing, she's not gonna have the following that she did. She's not gonna have the career she wanted
no,
until
No.
people forget.
everything's came out now. So if he loses, he's won. Pretty much,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's won
Yeah.
either way. Like he will
Yeah.
get everything back. Yeah, he's lost the case, whatever. But look what he's had to
Mm,
go through
yeah.
and all this stuff. Like,
There'll be sympathy and also just like people judging it from an outside point of view. I mean, you can't. Yeah, I don't understand how you can watch those things and listen to what they're saying and think that I mean, I could understand if you could say it's half a dozen of one and six of the other. You know what I mean? If it's
Yeah.
like both of them being pains in the arse, I can get that. But to say
Yeah.
it's all that Johnny's fault, I don't think so.
no,
You could say
No.
they're both a pair of twats, you know,
oh, one
but you
hundred
could never
percent.
say.
Like,
I
there's a video of Johnny walking around the house. Something happened. I think he lost 350 mil or something like that. He was just walking around the house being angry. He was just smashing cabinets, like fucking.
Uh,
Obviously, when you're angry, you just want to smash things, and that's all he was doing. Like he was nowhere near
mm,
her, and she was recording him, and you could see every time she was on camera, like she was trying to hide the camera from him, but he spotted it. Like the smirks on her face and stuff, like trying to say, "Oh, this is what I have to put up with," when really, in reality, he wasn't even anywhere near her. Like he
yeah.
tried to stay away, obviously, but the only time he got close to her is when he caught the camera,
yeah.
and obviously he just picked it up and put it in the bin.
I mean, the thing is, I mean, that could be seen as him being violent, but also what led him to that point? What got him to that point? And if he's never been violent directly towards
Yeah,
her, what the fuck's the problem? You know what I mean? I can understand if she smashes stuff up and stuff. Yeah, he's being a twat. But to get to that
yeah.
kind of level,
How many times haven't you smashed something on your own? Like if he's not yelling at her, just yelling, he's like, "Fuck! I lost all this
yeah,
money. God damn it! I'm like
Yeah,
mad at this thing. Oh look, there's a fucking wall, and the hole in my wall. Like it happens.
yeah.
But
I,
it, but when you're
I mean,
laughing at the person, like, haha, they're angry. This is gonna be funny.
but then to use it against them later on is a bit harsh. But also, there must be an element of drugs involved. There must be an element of alcohol
oh yeah,
involved. There's also an element of him being stressed with the relationship. So him losing that money could have just been the
a
the straw that
catalyst,
broke the camel's back.
a
Yeah, exactly.
catalyst to everything.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I mean, in a UK court, they'd probably say, "Yeah, he's acting violent, yeah, but and in no point has he been violent towards you,
I
so
don't
we
know
can't
if
use this."
that video was in the UK courts when they came to the UK, but she won that trial when everything came out. But
Yeah,
the what people are rumored to be saying, air quotation marks, is that she paid the judge and that off. But I don't know how
yeah,
but
true that
she
is.
was friends. She was friends with the judge. She was friends with him. Like her husband was like directly associated with her. Like they were like close friends. They hung out on like private meetings and shit like that. Had dinner together. That's what that's what was fucking crazy about it. Like the judge had absolutely no legal standing to be presiding over that case whatsoever. And then what it was is he's like, I have this evidence showing that this isn't true, and they're like, we don't want to see evidence. You lose.
Yeah, you
And that's
immediately
what
think,
happens a lot. That's what pretty much happened like with my wife at the very beginning. The judge is like, we don't want to see it. Like you guys just need to work together. Just get over it. And he's like, well, we have this evidence here. And he's like, no, I don't want to see it. He's like, well, what the fuck good is evidence if you're just gonna say no, I don't want to see it?
yeah. But the thing is, like a
Like,
court case like this wouldn't really happen on a standard level. You know what I mean? If you split up with
yeah,
Miss Zombie or I split up with my wife, we wouldn't have a defamation of character court case, would we? And to be honest, the lawyer or the judge or the solicitor that I went to would probably say, "Have you tried to sort this out?" Da 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 da. They would
yeah.
try and do that. Um,
Yeah, but
but I'm not saying that.
That's the divorce thing. This is a separate thing entirely. This is what happens afterwards. It does happen like around here.
No,
Like what happens? Like if like the wife went and told the husband's business partners, like, oh, he's a fucking pedophile or something. That's why we left him. You know, that's it. And it turns out that that's not true. But then like he goes and he loses a contract for his business because you went and decided to tell his business partner that he's a pedophile. So then that's a defamation of character suit that comes
I've
later.
never heard of anything like that in the UK. Maybe there is, but I've never heard of it. Like if it's just
It's
you
hard to
could,
prove, and like you have to actually have the money to do it. That's what
yeah.
the that's what the problem with that guy. I think in our county, it's you have to pay so much just to get the information in order to file what you need and to have the proof in order to take something to trial to fix it. And then ultimately, the result of fixing it is like isn't worth doing it. So people don't. So it just keeps continuing. Uh,
Yeah.
that's why like cops will ticket you for something that's not illegal, but the cost of the ticket is less than fighting with for so people just pay the fucking tickets.
Yeah. Yeah. And that happens here, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
I just think
Here's
it's
a
just
parking ticket. I don't have a car.
they'll fucking try it. They will fucking try
Yeah,
it.
I don't have a car. He's like, well, here's a $20 ticket. You could take it to court for $50. I'm like, wait, I can just pay you 20 now. Okay.
Yeah,
He's
you've
like,
made
you
the
can fight
money
it for 50. I either
and you
fight it
walk
for 50,
away.
win, and don't get shit, or I just pay the $20 fine and then be done with it.
But I mean, do you think that he will? I mean, he'd never get Pirates of the Caribbean back, would he? I don't think he wants Pirate of the
No.
Caribbean back there, does
I
he?
think he said he doesn't want it back, but
Yeah.
I am not too sure about it.
I think he was getting a bit pissed
He'll
off
probably
with that.
retire.
Yeah, I mean, he's rich enough to be able to just sit back on his laurels. I mean, the guy was in the first Friday the 13th, so
No, he
I
wasn't.
got respect for him for that. He
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. He
That
was
was
one
his
of like the
first
first ones to get
movie.
killed.
That was his
He was
Friday
the one that
Johnny
was in
Depp.
the bed. They got sucked into the bed or some shit, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was.
Are
That was
you
his
sure
first
you ain't
movie.
thinking of
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy
Kevin
Krueger.
Bacon.
No,
No,
that's
it's Johnny Depp.
that's Halloween, not Halloween. The other one. Yeah, it is Halloween.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Oh, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm talking about. Did I say Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, you said
What did I say?
Friday the 13th.
You said Friday the
So,
Oh
13th.
fuck.
so
Yeah.
I
Yeah, sorry.
googled Johnny Depp Friday
Yeah.
the 13th.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's
I meant
Nightmare on
That's
Elm
why I
Street.
was arguing with you, like, no, it wasn't.
yeah. No, I meant
It's Freddy. That's
Edward
why Friday
Scissorhands.
is
But yeah,
Freddy.
yeah, yeah. Glenn Lance, yeah, he was in
Yeah,
Friday the 13th.
yeah. But I just think it's going to go a bit crazy afterwards. I just think how people are going to deal with it. People are fucking pathetic nowadays anyway. So the repercussions of this will just be like, oh my God, oh how can they say that he's innocent? He's obviously an evil man. Or they'll turn around and say, how can they say she was innocent? It's just so fucking pathetic. It's just a
Yeah.
drama, isn't it? It's just like a thing to pull people in and get some interest going on. I mean, for them, but the worst thing is, this is a personal thing. Though they're two people, they might be film stars, whatever, actors or whatever they call themselves. I don't fucking know. But it's a personal thing, and it's
What?
being pushed into like the mainstream, so people can point fingers at. But I don't know. I think people have kind of latched onto it because they have it's like a connection between the two, isn't it? Like real people and these rich people that they go through the same shit that normal people do as well. I think that's why people have jumped on it. But on another note, it either proves or disproves all the bollocks that's been people been saying for the last 20 years. You know, that men are evil, toxic masculinity is a real thing, and all this kind of crap.
It will finally prove that women are just as bad as men, and this let me
Statistically,
not get me started on
the
equality
most
bullshit.
toxic relationships, statistically, you can look this up, are between same sex marriages, women and women.
Yeah,
That is the most violent relationships there are. And that's a statistic. That's what they say. Um, and it doesn't, I don't think it matters. You're either a prick or you're not a prick.
exactly what it
Um,
is.
I just think that's what it is. And she sounds like she's a prick. And
She is
she's
a prick.
using the fact that she's a woman to win, and that's not right. If he was really hitting her, then I'd be like, "Nah, man, this bloke's a prick." You know, yeah, he was in
Yeah,
Edward Scissorhands, but he's a prick. He's done that. He's done that wrong. But it don't look like that. It looks like a little girl who hasn't got her own way and decides to use all the
She throws a
soppy.
big temper tantrum and then,
Yeah,
you know, says it's your fault for making me have a temper tantrum.
yeah.
you sound like
Yeah,
somebody. I can't think who that is.
Should we round this section up and then move on to the
yeah,
next
I'm
one?
getting kind of, if you couldn't tell, I'm kind of tired of the sad speaking stuff.
Yeah, so we'll end it off here then. Uh,
Who do you remind me of? You remind me of somebody out of a movie, and it's going to annoy the shit out of me now.
Oh no!
oh, what movie is that
From
out of?
oh, what's that? Oh
Um,
my god, you're ignorant.
it's the guy from Family Guy. You know the teacher,
Mr. Garrison.
not Mr. Garrison. No, from Family Guy. He's like the really effeminate one. He's got an earring in Family
Oh
Guy.
yeah,
Ah.
the gay guy.
Oh, Greg.
Yeah.
Oh, Craig, not Greg. It's Craig.
right, I'll stop the
Oh my
record now. Thank
God.
you everyone
What?
for watching and and listening. Until next time.
So what we doing now?
Talking like a bunch of fucking weirdos.
Right,
I think so.